Cool. Great.
Hello, everyone. We're just back in the jam. I think it's a bit of an overdue video. We've been wanting to do it since Monday.
It's only Friday.
Well,
I think we've actually been wanting to do this for a lot longer than since Monday, probably months, in fact, that we've talked about it, that we should just sit down and actually just record our conversation as how we normally do.
that's right.
And why we are where we are and what we want to do.
Yeah, so we thought that we'd just jam it. We have to find a name for these kind of sessions.
Yeah.
We're going to be quite...
Okay,
very
that's
current.
it.
We'll just talk.
We'll just go with the flow. And what are we talking about today, Jean-Marc?
Well, Louise, let me tell you what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about why we do what we do and why we've chosen to create an online business and just go online. Because there's been a series of events in our lives that we want to cover.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll cover all of those events.
That's right.
People might not be prepared for that.
We're going to do part 1 and part 2.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that would be better. Or else this could end up very long.
Oh well, keeps content. So here we go. I think when we first decided to have a first attempt online, it was Louise, aka Mrs. Funnels, and I think that probably it's best that you start telling that part of the story. So I probably could start with, why did you think in the first place that going on starting an online business was the way to go?
Well, so it was when our youngest child was still a babe. I think he'd only just turned 1, and we were in...
Is that all?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was younger.
No, we were in Spain at the time. We'd gone over for that summer, and I was in this really difficult place because I was struggling with the idea of being a stay-at-home mother and just looking after children, because while I love my children dearly and I respect women who can do that, after always working and making my own money, suddenly relying on someone else was really quite traumatic for me, and I just, this perpetual state of guilt and of, even though we're married and we share everything, I was really independent, and that's from past experiences of being let down by other people and also not having any financial literacy or education whatsoever. And so we were in Spain, and I was like, I didn't want to go back to what I had been doing, like working in the corporate world. And I read an article about a couple based in New Zealand who were online entrepreneurs and who were making money online, and there was an article on a well-known website about them. And I remember standing with an umbrella in a doorway. Do you remember? And I was like, because I was like, I really want to talk to Xiaoma about this, but he's going to think I'm a nutter. And it was pouring with rain, and we were standing there, and it was just coming down in a sheet in front of us in the street. And I was like, I read this article. And you were like, oh yeah, whatever. And I was like, no, really good.
I'm usually quite open to listening to her ideas.
But you...
But it was raining.
Well, it was raining, and also it was how I was presenting it. You were just like, what are you talking about? And it was this online marketing and these people making money, and and of course all of those prejudices that we naturally have of because of the wild west of the internet, of how there have been a lot of scams, and people say you can make money and then you don't make any money, and also because we've all been indoctrinated into believing that you have to go and work for someone else, and that entrepreneurs are, it's really risky, and also being risk adverse, which your family is very risk adverse.
That's right.
And I'd say my family is very risk adverse as well.
Well, yeah, probably. I guess that you come probably more from an entrepreneurial type family than my family. But I think for me, when I heard Louise saying, I want to start an online business, or I've read this article about online business, probably now looking back in hindsight, is the fact that I didn't know much about how it works, and that's probably the first barrier, right? You don't know what it is about, and all you talking about what 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
The primary focus was just all those emails that you would get in your inbox, right? Like things have come a long way now, especially with social media. But yeah, it was completely unknown for me. So that's probably one of the first times I was like, okay, let's talk about it. Tell me more.
Yeah, and so when we got back, I ended up on a webinar with back to New Zealand. So I'd been in Spain for holiday in the summer with Jana's family. We came home, and I got on a webinar with a very well-known affiliate marketer.
He still is.
He still is. And I know there's always, someone always hates people that you love. And so there are lovers and haters of him. And we'll talk about him later on, because I still love him. I think he's puts out amazing content. And I bought the course, even though I felt guilty. It was like $247 or something. And it was how to set up a landing page, as it was called then. Everyone called it a landing page. A landing page with an opt-in form, where you put your email address to start building your email list. And I chose the paleo niche because at the time with our daughter, she had a lot of food issues, and the more research I did into food, I saw that the processed foods that we eat are just absolute crap and are killing us all. And so for my babies, I wanted to give them the best possible food. And also it fitted in with my waste-free lifestyle as well. Poor man, he puts up with a lot.
You wait. We might have to do part 5.
We might have to do a counselling session actually. But jumped into that, and it's like, how can I help people and how can I serve people in this area of paleo? And so I started Kickstart Paleo, and actually it was pretty good for a first effort. First of all, I did educate myself on how to build a website, a web page, which was ridiculous because I didn't want to spend any money. And that was actually the killer of the whole thing, that I didn't want to spend any money at all. So I had time, but then also, did I have time? Because I had 2 children under the age of 5. Yeah. I was making I made all of our food from scratch.
Yeah.
I was also going to different places to get food because I wanted to get the best quality food for the best prices. So there was so much at play, wasn't there? Yeah,
well, and I think I really want to break a myth here because, there's 2 things. But one, being a stay-at-home mum, right, for us, it was a choice. It was not that she didn't want to go back to work. We felt that this was our choice. And look, probably if you looked at our finances back then, you probably wouldn't think that it was the smartest choice. Because being on one salary, and that's probably, later on where my part of the story comes in, but it put quite a lot of pressure on us. But the other thing is the motivation that prompted Louise to actually start a specific business in a specific niche. And that's something that we've kind of learned the hard way, right? Because if you are going to start an online business, probably we want to start looking at what is something that you're interested in and that you feel comfortable talking about possibly all day and posting and just building content around it, because that's a big part of it. And I think you did really well with that paleo group, because you brought it up to... Yeah,
well, I got my page up to like over 3,000 and I had quite a big, a decent sized emailing list as well. And but once again, I didn't put any money into it, and I didn't put any money into myself at the time. And so while the course that I did to start off with was great, which it was, it was the first step. And then I just plateaued and was like, like the money situation on one income, while it was definitely the best thing to be there for our children before they started school, without a doubt, and I will never take that back. To build our future, we needed to go back somewhere. If I'd injected more money into it, who knows? And also, if I'd injected more money probably into my self-development then, would have been very different. But, it could have been, who knows. But anyway, ended up going back into the normal workforce and teaching, which had its advantages as well.
Yeah, actually.
Without a doubt, because I got additional qualifications and I learned a lot more about how we absorb information and learning and different styles and techniques, and so very grateful for that. And then we came back to the whole thing again.
A few years later,
when suddenly you were put into the situation of, are you prepared to work for someone else for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
You know?
I think for me, what it was though, kind of continuing where you left it off, was the fact that being the main income provider, I think there's a whole, we could go down a rabbit hole on that one, but as a man, right, you have to be the main income provider and you have to provide, and that's kind of like what the stereotype of today's society kind of pushes us to be, right? And at the time, I was not earning much money, and not only I wasn't earning a lot of money, we were just getting by.
Yeah.
Only just.
Yeah.
For the other one was that because we were just getting by and we were not able to save, what that meant was that also we could not go to visit my family back in Spain, for about 4 years, wasn't it?
Three? I think it was 3.
I think it was a bit more, but that's all right. 3 is enough. 3 to 4 years. And for me, that really hurt, because before that we used to go every year and a half to 2 years maximum, and I was really, there was something inside of me that just really needed to go back and see my family. So that was a big breaking point. And here, we kind of faced the dilemma, right, of whether we keep pushing. Luis kept pushing on the online business and just trying our luck, or do we just go back to the workforce, right? And that's when we decided that at the time the best option was to go down the workforce. But then, for me, I got to a point where at that time, I was in a very bad situation, right? I was doing a job that I didn't enjoy. I wasn't earning much money. I was basically getting abused by customers on a daily basis. So I was managing some of the complaints and escalations. I was working in the call center back in the time, and it was a really dark place that I was in.
Yeah, you were stressed.
I was talking to people every day. I was charged with negativity. I came home. I was absolutely drained. I didn't want to talk or engage. I was sad. I was annoyed. I was angry.
You were grumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah, which isn't good when you've got little kids.
No, doesn't help.
No.
But I think the biggest one was that for me, that it was a trigger to start thinking about what is it that I want to do, right? And I found that through through some opportunities in the workplace that came up, I started training, and I started becoming accredited in some personal development tools, and that opened a few doors for me to actually become a trainer, which I still am and I really enjoy. And for me, it was fantastic. It was a huge step forward, because I went from a place of not finding my groove, being grumpy, sad, not having any joy, any motivation to do anything, to all of a sudden having a world of opportunities, a career path, and obviously it was a salary increase that came with it. So for a period of time, it was phenomenal. I was enjoying it. I was happy. I was feeling that I was making an impact to people. I was making a difference, which for me is one of my biggest drivers. And it was all smooth sailing, right?
Mm.
And
Wow.
and that's the thing, right? You think you found what you really want to do, but then what came with it after 3 years probably of doing it,
Yep.
was the long hours. The longer hours in terms of not only delivering but preparation. That meant less time with my family. It also meant that, how would you say it? I got stuck, right? I just hit the glass ceiling,
Yeah, totally.
basically.
Yeah.
right? Because you get used to, you get used to a certain level of comfort, and then you want to keep growing, right? So for me, it was having more freedom because I was tied up and doing long hours. Therefore, I didn't have the time, and I was not getting that much money at the end of it. I was having a positive impact in some people, but it was still quite limited. So I guess for me, seeing that I could have more time, more money, more freedom, and more positive impact, were the drivers to have a look at different options, right? And the thing is that I started looking at the same job in different businesses, but I realized that it was not going to solve the problem, because I was not going to get paid less, if the same, but I would have to start all over again. So I came across another online guru, but instead of focusing on email marketing, right, which involves the whole process of writing emails and writing content, for me this is not what my strength is, but I'm a good facilitator, right? So I found this guy that basically was doing affiliate marketing. So affiliate marketing is being the middleman, like you would be, I don't know, if you were selling cars, right?
Anything. Everything has a middleman.
That's right. So if you've got a supermarket, you're the middleman because you get your groceries from the farmer and then you sell them to the customers, right? So affiliate marketing is basically the same. People have digital products or physical products, and you create a website or a place where people can go and buy those products, and you get a commission of that. Now, the beauty of it is that because it is all online and there is, I guess, less cost into it, the commissions are a lot more lucrative. So usually it's anywhere between 20 to 40%.
That's a whole nother
video. So get to the chase.
Yes.
Cut the chase. So basically, I got into I bought this course, and again, for me, it was having that chat to Louise, because that course this time was about $1,600 New Zealand dollars. It was $700 US dollars thereabout, and yes, we had a little bit more money, but we're still just getting by. And I had to put my business case forward for a few days.
Absolutely.
And the thing though is that because she was more open to it, then it was less of a battle.
Yeah.
But what I learned from it is that I guess it's a specific system that did work, but it did involve like high turnover in that regard.
What do you mean a high turnover?
Well, it just involved basically just continuously selling products and looking for products to sell.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, which all of the systems are like though.
Yeah, I understand that, but the bottom line is that for us to find the business model that we actually are coming up to now, we had to go through this painful process, the one that you went through and the one that I went through. And I think that at the end of the day, what we've always chased, and what we still really want, or what's driving what we do, why we do what we do, is this, right? Would you agree? More time, more money, and more impact.
Absolutely.
Changing people's lives.
Absolutely. Yep. Serving people, which is what we both want to do.
That's
because
right.
this is one of the things, when I went back to teaching and tertiary education, the thing that I loved about it was my students. I loved having an impact on their lives, and that was why it was such a tough decision of not going back to it, and of changing it to an online model instead. But and it's funny because even last year when I was still there, miserable because of working for the big boys, you're not really valued, you are just another number, you could get hit by a bus and you could be replaced any day, that's the employment system. It's like people always said to me, no one can do what you do, and it's like, well, actually that's rubbish. They've got a curriculum, they can do what I do. But I knew that in my classrooms I made a huge difference with the people that I could physically touch, but I was so limited. I was limited by the institutions advertising, who they brought into my classroom. I was confined by that. And I was like, man, I want to reach more people. I want to be on the internet so that I can really attract the people. And also with that model, bringing all these people in, all this kind of not my ideal people to work with were brought in for me to work with. And we didn't connect, and some of them were really abusive to me, and some of them it was really tough. They weren't my kind of people, and some of the things that they shared with me I didn't want to hear. And so I could never set that limit of like where I wanted to be. And this is the beauty but I know that on the internet and online you can have these filters of who you're bringing towards you. So we only want to work with people who are interested in family and values, and spend, creating more time to do those quality things, which is like sitting on the floor and playing with your kids. It's not like all this fancy pants stuff that you see that people are like, hey, I can't, look, a resort is a great idea. You can see our dream board up here. We've got resorts on there. So we definitely want to do that stuff. We want to travel. But it's, we don't want to waste our time. We really want to value and cherish those moments that we have with people. And this is it. And also the money will give us that time as well. And there's no reason why, because the thing is, can we just, if you think about the richest companies in the world, we've got Amazon. Hello, Amazon. Have they got a physical shop? No. Well, they're an online company. Do they have a physical shop?
Just a couple now.
Oh, do they?
Started. But it's just all experiential. It's just for you to go and still buy online from there.
Excellent. Yeah. So, anyway. But like biggest companies in the world, they're making heaps of money.
That's right. Everyone's going online.
Yeah, exactly. And
I don't know what percentage. It would be interesting to research what percentage of the world trade is online.
Oh, well, I did look that up the other day. I did. I can't give you the exact, but it did say that by 2040, pretty much all retail will be done online. So 2040, 20 years, it will be like the retail market as we currently know it will be gone. And it's diminishing every year as those prices go up. And I think this was another big thing for us as well that we wanted to explore is, we have our ethics, we have our values and our morals. We are not materialistic people. It's much more important to us about how we feel than what we have. We live in a modest house, and I've got to say I love it. It's warm, dry, and it's a home.
It does the job for now. And I think though that, and that's what's really important to us as well. Different people and different families will have different needs and different objectives, and that's absolutely fine. But for us, it's not about having $1 million house. Like, to me, that probably will mean mowing the lawns 2 hours a week.
Which, a lot of cleaning. Yeah,
I'm just not keen on doing it. But we do want to travel because through traveling, we met each other. We'll always be at least in between New Zealand and Barcelona.
Definitely.
And our kids just get so much out of that experience of traveling. And for us, it's traveling. And for someone else, it might be, I don't know, just having that time to go and bike elsewhere. Whatever it is that is your jam, it's absolutely fine. But we really want to work and help you if that's what you want. If you want more time to spend doing the things that you really want to do, and at the same time just generate more income, because let's face it, let's get over the guilt, and that's again another one for another day. Let's get over the guilt about wanting money. Like, you need money to live, and it took me a lot of time to actually be okay with it. It's not about wanting $50 million. I mean, it would be really nice, but I don't need $50 million to actually do the things that I want to do. It's figuring out what that number is, which we know for us, and just working towards it.
Yeah.
But I just remembered where I was going with my story because I completely drifted.
Yes.
Thanks for jumping in, Louise.
Yeah, sorry.
So I was just in a place where I hit my glass ceiling, and if you remember, I had a conversation with my manager at the time, and I was literally, and I'd been for the last 6 months asking for help in terms of getting more opportunities for development and just trying to figure out what were my next steps. And after a long time serving that company, I'm going to say, the only option for me was just to leave. It just really got to that point because other experiences that I've had in other businesses after this, you really realize that at the end of the day, you are just a number in any company. And I'm not saying that online entrepreneurship is for everyone, but for me, having that, I guess, if you can have security, or it's not so much security, but just depending on me to create my future and my path and earning my money, as opposed to having the safety, because safety is when no one wants you, restructure, let's get rid of you, see you later, bring it on the next one, right? And for me, owning my future and being the creator as opposed to creating someone else's wealth, that was another big driver for me to do what I do.
Absolutely. And I mean, because that's where I ended up as well, with just feeling like I was just another number, and I was, because every year I was on a fixed term part-time contract, and so around this time.
But just sort of fixed term part-time.
Yeah.
Just wanted to point that out.
Why did you want to point that out? What do you mean?
It's just the most bizarre type of contract that I've ever heard in my life.
Why?
Because for a fixed period of time, you work part-time, but it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because how long did that go for?
3 years.
But how long was that fixed contract for?
Well, it got renewed every year. So it's like, why didn't you just give me a permanent contract, because you knew that was going to be coming back every year? But that was the whole problem. That was one of the issues of why I didn't feel that I was valued at all. But that, and I wasn't valued. And it's funny, because last year we went and we saw a financial advisor to talk about our goals and where we're heading and making a real plan. And we talked about our next step, because we will need a slightly larger house. We have 2 growing children. And while they currently share a room, there is only a limited time we can do that before they are going to lose the plot. So we do have a spare room, but...
that's the office.
That's the office.
Can't mess with the office.
No.
It's where the magic happens.
Yeah, but we talked to our financial advisor, and he was inquiring about my contract. And he's like, it's going to be a problem when we go to banks with additional lending. They are not going to like that contract at all. And it's like, even though I had been unstable with that employer for on and off for 10 years, I was not going to look like a good option, which is ridiculous, because we could service it and do all the rest. But it is what it is, and it's good, because it gave me the another nail in the coffin of working there, and I'm excited to be able to do the next step of learning, growth, development, and it's a constant journey. It's not as if it's something that we are going to suddenly know everything about it all, because we're not. We are learning as we go along, and mistakes will be made, and great. It's one of these big things we try to teach our children. We're like, it's okay to fail. That's right. Just keep going. And then we as adults
we get like, what do you mean we're failing? I'm a failure.
I'm not going to
What's
try.
Wrong with me?
I'm not even going to try, because I'm scared to fail.
That's another different video.
It is another one. But I find it so funny. Often I'm saying to my daughter, you did a really great job of trying, and then I don't give myself that same advice.
Right.
So I must take that on board. So,
but I think and you probably will agree with me. Like, looking back, and especially this last year, when we've just been really busting our asses and putting the time into it, the growth that I have experienced personally and personally, emotionally, in so many levels, this last year of entrepreneurship and just wanting to trying to make this thing work has been so much bigger than, or as big as 9 years in the corporate world. Because it's actually made me face a lot of my fears, a lot of the preconceptions, a lot of the judgments that I had, and it's just made me a lot more self-aware of not only who I am but where I want to go. So the journey within this last year has been absolutely massive, and that's another reason for me just to keep doing it, because I keep growing as I do it.
Yeah. And also it will give us the platform that we really want to be able to actually help more people and meet more people. And if you are lucky enough to be one of our tribe, and we've always said we've had an extended McBosh family, and we've adopted many people, and if you're part, we do keep on doing it, and we love doing that, and we love meeting people and welcoming them into our home and into our family and supporting other people. And I believe that we are really supportive to a lot of people. I know that a lot of people come to us and talk to us about things that they will not talk to other people about. And I know that we have a lot of people who have come and stayed with us in our home for an extended period of time, and we actually really love it. We love those relationships. So, extending those relationships out more is actually really exciting for me. I'm really excited.
Are you openly inviting everyone to come and stay? Is that what you're saying?
The office is closed.
Until we get a bigger house.
No, I'm saying that when we travel to visit people, or if they come to New Zealand, absolutely, we would. We have got a trampoline, and we've got a very large tent. So we could make it work.
But we need a bigger backyard to put it out.
We do, indeed.
Can go to the neighbours.
Yes.
Anyway.
So that's just our ramblings. And because often we have these big discussions about what we should be doing and how we should be doing it and all this kind of stuff. And then afterwards we're like, we actually probably should record that because, sometimes things can get slightly heated between us when we're discussing things.
Oh, and that's another one. Just trying to work with your partner, wife, spouse. That's a part 5 series.
Yeah, it is. But we really want to share our journey with people, and I think, because I know that when I share it with my tribe, the people who I shared it with, how I feel so amazing afterwards, because your love and support is incredible, and I'm always buzzing afterwards, and I say to Shamra, I talked to this person and they are like this, and you feel the same.
Absolutely.
And so we're really excited to share this with other people, to expand our tribe of like-minded people who can put up with our craziness, and also who have the same morals and values and value the same things, and also know that, the new normal's coming, so let's be part of it and change it.
The reality is that you get what you put out there, right?
Yes.
So that's why we just want to put ourselves out there, as we are trying to help people, trying to help you be the best version of yourself and live the life you really want to live, just like we want to do. And we want you to come with us and just let's do it together, because we don't have all the answers. We just roll with the punches. We've gone, we've done a bit of the journey.
We actually have done a lot of the journey. Like when we sit down and actually work out how much we know and stuff, things like that. I'm doing things on a daily basis, and I'm like, man, I should teach someone else this. And then when I say it to someone, they're like, oh, I didn't know that. So, but I'm sure that you have things that you could teach us as well. So, 100%. Sharing is caring.
Correct. And we've got an open mind to learn.
Yeah, definitely.
As teachers and trainers. So, I guess, action point for you people. That's right. Why not? Just think about what it is that motivates you to do whatever it is that you are doing at the moment. Okay? Don't even start thinking yet about what you want to do, but just
What's your motivation?
Just look inside, look inwards. Start getting to the habit of looking inwards, because that's when you start realizing about things that you may or may not want to change.
And share it with us.
Yeah, put it in the comments below.
Yeah, or somewhere.
Or there.
I don't know, it's sometimes on the side, but I don't know if it'll be on that side or on this side. I don't know.
It'll be somewhere.
Yeah.
But just comment.
Comment. Oh, and always, I should put this at the front, you know, you have to, if you watch something that we do, you have to either, give it a that, and do not just give it that.
Don't like,
okay?
Don't like, just love.
The Facebook algorithms don't do much with that.
Nah.
Do not give it a sad face, okay? When do not be angry with us, okay? Be happy with us, give us that, or laugh with us, yeah. And then it will help us. And that's another thing, we've been looking at how to hack Facebook algorithms and stuff like that. And I'm actually doing pretty well, but that's another video for another time.
Oh gosh.
So please, just comment and give us some love.
Excellent. Love to see you. Thanks for being here. Till next time. Bye.